Welcome back. Earlier this week, Yahoo ranked Buffalo as one of the top 10 cities for fantasy football.
Yes, and since all women's leagues are becoming a bit more popular, we decided to invite News 4's Melissa Holmes and her husband Jay Skursky in to, teach us a bit about fantasy football.
Yeah, and first things first, welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be here with you guys. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Yeah. Usually we're on the golf course, playing golf, but now we're talking football. So what do you need to do first? There's research involved, I would assume.
Right, yeah. The easiest thing to do is you want to print out a ranked list of players. Now, you can go to any major website, ESPN, Yahoo Sports, CBS, websites like that, and what they'll do is they'll have a list of all the players in the league, quarterbacks, and broken down by position, wide receivers, running backs, and that will tell you, it'll give you a general idea of who the best players are if you're brand new to the sport.
And I would definitely say for ladies, make sure that you use this as a bonding experience and don't try to have a team on your own first. Just go with your husband and have a team with your husband first, because it's way too complicated on your own first.
I was all by myself last year and it got a little overwhelmed. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for this yet, especially because I learned this morning that there are different kinds of drafts. You don't just pick your players.
Right.
That's right. There's two different kinds. There's what's called an auction draft, and in that type of draft, you're given a fictional amount of money, say $200, and you can spend that on any players you see fit to build your roster. The more traditional draft is what we call just a regular draft, whereas you pick names out of a hat, say 12 people in your league, and you draft in that order, 1 through 12, and then it goes backwards. The traditional draft, I would think, for a beginner is a little bit easier. That way you know when you're picking, and you just look and you say, okay, I need a quarterback, I need a running back. This guy's at the top of my list. He's who I'm going to take.
That totally worked for me last year. I even had, I think the second pick, and I managed to screw it up. But that's my fault, my problem.
But what is it when people say that they're on auto draft? Like if you're out of town or something like that, what's that?
An automatic draft is where...
My boyfriend always has to do auto draft, and I still don't understand what it is.
Well, an auto draft is when you basically let the computer do your draft for you. It has already ranked the players, and it will just take whoever's the highest ranked player at whatever position you need. So if you put it on auto draft and you have the third pick, whichever the third ranked player is, that's the player you're going to get.
Okay, now my tip for women on draft day, and this is a very important one. Jay gives the expert tips. I give the women tips for draft day. Have a party, ladies. Get babysitter, get martinis, and have a draft party just like the guys do.
Absolutely.
Really quick, we have about 20 seconds.
Sure.
Once you get your team and the season's going, how do you manage that team?
Well, the most important thing to do is watch for injuries and watch for what are called bye weeks. Each NFL team will be off 1 week during the season. You want to make sure you take your quarterback out of your lineup when he's on his bye. And your injuries, you want to make sure if your running back has sprained his ankle and he's going to be out for 2 games, put him on your bench. You have reserves, and put one of those reserves into your starting lineup.
So it's good to maybe have 2 quarterbacks and a couple of running backs.
Yeah, and when you draft, you'll draft a starting lineup and a bunch of reserves.
And read Jay's fantasy sports column every Friday in the Buffalo News to get your tips for the week.
You do the live blog, right, during the games as well?
I do, yes. Thank you, Missy.
I'm a proud wife. That's what I do.
Well, this has been a lot of overwhelming information. I need to absorb it. So while I do that, we're going to go out and see what's going on the web with our web